A very good afternoon. This is Edmund Chow here in Fontainebleau. This is the chateau and the palace where you oversee this beautiful lake. And the palace is just behind me. I'm just wondering if you've heard of the story of the ugly duckling. Because even as I'm looking at the pond, I see these black birds just sort of swimming. And I'm just wondering, if you know the story, because well, there was once a time when the mother duck's eggs hatched in a barnyard, and all the ducklings were born, and they started realizing that one of these ducklings, just looked very different, and they were saying, "Hey, you don't look like me. What's wrong? You don't belong here. You are just so different. So you really shouldn't be coming with us and swimming in the lake, etc." And this little duckling is probably, feeling taunted by his barnyard animals and even his own family. His mother would probably be thinking, why do I even deserve to have a child, a baby duckling like you, because you don't look like me, right? So what happened was this duckling decided to leave the barnyard, and because of all the so-called taunting and criticisms and discrimination that he endured. So he went out and he started living with wild goose and ducks. But then again, oh wow, look at that. And then what happened was the hunters came along and then sort of shot these wild birds. And so he started moving and then went into the house of an old woman. The cat taunted him again and he left. And then eventually during winter, around this time of the year, he saw that there was a flock of birds just flying in the air, migrating birds just flying beautifully, gracefully. And he was just thinking, oh, if only I could also fly. And but he was too young, he was too small, he couldn't even flap his wings too much to lift off the ground. So he decided to hide in the cave, if I can remember, because it was winter, it was really bitter, and he wanted to get away from all the different places that he's been with or been in. And eventually he lived near a lake, and when it was spring, when the winter, when the lake started thawing, he noticed that there was a flock of beautiful birds that were just swimming gracefully. Swans. He didn't know that they were swans, but they just looked so big and majestic and beautiful. And he was thinking that, oh no, I'd rather, die amongst these swans than be killed by other animals or people who do not like me for who I am. So lo and behold, he didn't know that he had already grown and matured through these months. And when he sort of flew into the flock of birds, he suddenly felt that he was being welcomed into that bird family. And then when he looked into the reflection of the lake, he saw that he had grown bigger and more beautiful, just like the swans. And you also see there's a goose over there. But you can just imagine him growing into a bigger, beautiful swan that can now fly with his family. So this is the only story, if I can recall, that doesn't have those fairy tale heroes that need to go out and slay dragons or need to accomplish difficult feats just to become who he is, right? So this is the only story, I believe, that realizes how important it is to know what your true worth is, what your true self is, because you don't need to do a lot of things. You don't need to do anything, but just wait for time to mature, to let you become the person that you are, the beautiful person that you are. So take note of that. That's number one. You don't have to be who you don't want to be. Just let time be the the indicator of your own growth and your development. You are beautiful the way you are. So number two is that if you notice the story of the ugly duckling, it moved from place to place to place, to community to community to community, and everywhere he went, he was being taunted, criticized, and being ridiculed and discriminated. And for people who are trying to fit in, it always feels that way because you are just different. And perhaps it is time for you to move to a different place, a different community, where you can feel like there is a sense of belonging, where you feel at home. And it is important for you to feel at home because you don't want to feel like you are a sore thumb in that community. So as you find that community, look for people who sort of believe in you, people who, oh, look at that. I love this. You know, people who believe in you, people who trust you, people who know what you're worth. And there is where you can start becoming the beautiful swan that you are. There you go. Oh, look at that. Oh, you're coming so close to me. Hey. Hello. So that's the story of the ugly duckling, and this is a goose, but a similar analogy. Alright, so see you, take care, and merci beaucoup. Bye.